Hey, what's up, guys? It's Davinci Neptune, and I'm gonna revisit this topic again because I feel like I didn't properly explain this correctly. Today, or in this video, I'm gonna be explaining my thoughts on narcissism and what I think of narcissism. And do I think that narcissism is a real disorder of some kind, or a personality disorder or whatnot? I really don't like this topic, to be honest. I'm gonna be upfront. I really don't like these type of topics. Because these things are very philosophical, where it's like, who makes these concepts? Before narcissism was a thing, there was no narcissism, right? Until someone or doctor created this diagnosis of narcissism, there was no such thing as narcissism, right? So did it really exist or not? And I used to study a lot about narcissism because I used to be really, really attracted to those kind of like characters who display narcissism, kind of vanity, or because I perceived it as like, wow, they're like excellent, they're artistic, they are expressive, they are impressive, they are grander, they are luxurious, they are powerful, they are so larger than life. So I was attracted to that sort of thing when I seen it in movies and seen it in video games. I was attracted to those kind of things, and naturally I started to adopt certain qualities of the narcissism into real life because that's kind of what I saw, and I was very impressed by it. So I also started to display it. I also read about it in high school. One of my friends told me about it, and I was like, "Oh wow, this is what I have." But in reality, I don't actually think that narcissism exists. I think that all of that is just role play. Again, all the drama that we go through in life is based upon our inner dialogue, right? Which means that you can manifest any sort of any psychological problem. You can talk to yourself into depression, you can talk to yourself to ADD, you can talk to yourself to any fucking disorder you want under the sun. Another issue that we have is that since we are humans with instincts, we have biological needs. When these biological needs are not being met, it creates a malfunction within the human psyche, the human consciousness, and the human mind-body experience. Therefore, you'll see a lot of disease and you'll see a lot of unhappiness and a lot of trouble symptoms and whatnot. And I'm someone that I took a long time to recover from a lot of these kind of all these different kind of issues. I had a lot of different kind of fucking problems, and I've fucking addressed each and every single fucking one problem. Every single fucking problem I've ever had, I bounced back and I fixed it every single fucking time. Every time that I got a problem, I fucking fixed it by doing the Google research. Because one thing I don't like to feel is insecurity. I'm someone that I tend not to like. I tend to like to be in control of life. I tend to like to know what to say, what to do, and how to handle certain situations. One thing that I don't particularly like is not knowing how to handle something or not knowing what to do in certain scenarios or not knowing what to say or not knowing what to do. So I invested a lot of time in learning how to be, smooth and learning what to say and what not to do and what not to do and what to avoid. So I spent a lot of time in spirituality and meditation so I can always know what to do and what to say. And do I know what to do, what to say at this point? No, not really. I still don't know all the answers, but I know enough where I'm very confident in what I'm saying and how to handle certain things in life. I'm very confident because I've already took the time to extensively research every single component known to man. I've already fucking researched it for 1,000+ hours. But I still don't know everything. I still make mistakes. I still get emotional too because that's part of being human is that you have emotions and this does happen. You get emotion. One thing that I will say this is that if you're struggling from a psychological or a psychiatric disorder of some kind, you know, this could be linked to a physiological symptom. Okay, so it might not be just you, all right? It could be your hormones, and these are things to really take a look into. I've been saying this for multiple times already. If you are someone that you are too moody, this needs to be taken a look at. You might need to pop at the antidepressant, or you might need a benzo on the occasion. You might need, an Adderall if you can't focus. You might need one of these things. or take a supplement, take something that helps you to not cope, but to help you thrive and flourish in your environment. These are tools that, humans have created to help us assist us in terms of dealing with our physiological symptoms. Some people want to do this manually in the sense that they want to do everything manually. They want to fix all their parts by challenging every single part on a psyche level, on a psychological level. You can do this, right? But you can also integrate different kinds of medicines and different types of nutrients and other ingredients that will help you kind of just get into your own body in a better way. And you don't have to take drugs per se, but there are definitely supplements that will help you to feel better about yourself and help you to be more steady as a person. I've done a lot of research and I've done a lot of trial and error, and I can say that supplements for me has been a definitely big help. Definitely. So something like fish oil, something like ashwagandha, maybe inocytal if you have OCD, maybe vitamin D. Um, there's different types of supplements that will help you to in whatever different kind of category you may be struggling with. And the important thing is just to research what condition you are having and then find a chemical that corresponds to that to that to that physical problem. So, for example, maybe depression, maybe fish oil, maybe focus, maybe fish oil, or maybe lack of energy, maybe caffeine, or maybe mood swing, maybe that's a hormonal thing. Usually mood swing is a hormonal. Maybe it could be lack of serotonin, maybe it could be low dopamine. Maybe your hormones are out of whack, and these things are need to be really taken a look into. Maybe you have low T levels, maybe low testosterone levels. Maybe you have too much estrogen. So you need to balance these hormones, or maybe you need to balance these physiological conditions that you're experiencing. Now, some people don't like the idea of drugs or supplements to enhance their body because they think it's not natural. They think it's going to take them away from being themselves. No, in fact, it's going to help you be yourself by removing the problems and the deficiencies that are keeping you stuck and keeping you not able to be yourself. I know that there's this guy named David Asprey, and he's a big advocate of biohacking and supplements because they've helped him to overcome the challenges that he was facing, such as, he was fat, he was going to college, he took modafinil to help him go through college. And then, these are tools, right? So we have these kind of resources to help us climb up the social ladder or play the game of life better or just to make the quality of life easier and better for ourselves. Now, when it comes to narcissism, I think narcissism, 99% of narcissism is just people who have bad social skills. That's what I'm going to say. They have bad social skills. Maybe because they've been watching the wrong cartoons, maybe they've been watching the wrong movies, maybe they seen it on TV that they seen it on TV or they seen it on a movie or that this is a cool way to be, but they don't actually know how to behave in a way that's socially fun and socially acceptable to everyone in the group. So you can say that the narcissist has very childlike tendencies because they don't know how to actually behave in a way that is socially fun or acceptable. If people are constantly correcting you, maybe this is a sign that what you're doing is not correct. Or maybe you need to find different people. Again, who knows, right? Or maybe the narcissist, maybe you need to find other narcissistic people who you can kind of get along with and kind of be narcissistic together and vanity and vain together. Now that doesn't create a really good atmosphere. It's kind of create like those like elitist girls like in high school that you see who are so stuck up and bitchy, who think they're above everything. But meanwhile, their shit stinks too. Narcissism is a coping mechanism. Okay, I'm gonna say that it's a coping mechanism of not being able to actually not like yourself. That's what narcissism is. Narcissism is not liking yourself. When you like yourself, you like other people. When you like yourself, you help other people feel better. Narcissism does not like themselves, So they can't fill other people's cup because they don't have any fucking thing. They don't have anything in their cup to fucking give. Their fucking cup is dry as fuck. So they can't give compliments. They can't give gifts. But meanwhile, their cup is empty. So they want people to give them something so they can feel something about themselves. But they can't do it back to other people because they don't have enough positive energy to give to other people. Again, narcissism can be cured. It can be fixed. I got out of fucking narcissism in high, like I had that condition and I got out of it too by mentally fucking outthinking it and just thinking about other things. Narcissism is a fucking complexity. It's, it gets attached to your ego about this is who I am, but you can let go of narcissism tendencies. You can let that go because just the same way that you created narcissism, you can let go of narcissism. That's just the same way that you created barriers to block yourself out of reality, you can learn to let go and be more vulnerable and be more and feel more safe with yourself and feel safe around other people. To me, narcissism is like a profile. It's like a persona profile. People get into that one when they don't have enough in their cup, they're not feeling loved, they don't it's a coping mechanism. It's what it is. It's a coping mechanism. Now, the difference between what is a coping mechanism and what is a real disorder, well, can this person not change it? Can this person not fix it? If this person does not have the capacity to think, or does not have the capacity to change, or does not have the capacity to want to improve, or does not want to admit that they have something wrong, then it is a real disorder of some kind. If they cannot fix it because they cannot see it or they cannot hear it or they choose to not look at it. And even then, it could still just be a coping mechanism that is blocking a lot of these truths from being submerged because you need to have these talks with yourself and these talks with your surrounding about, how you're making them feel or how, what kind of effects are they giving you or how you making them feel. Yeah, that's pretty much what I want to say about this. Narcissism tends to take, 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 take. They're very insecure, very, very insecure. They try to cover it up with makeup. They try to cover it up with big nails. They try to cover it up with like peacock fur, but they're usually very insecure people. And they try to do the opposite to cover up the insecurity, which is to kind of make themselves like the center of attention because they feel so insecure about themselves. They don't feel like anything. They don't feel like somebody. They don't feel like anything. So they're trying to cope with the fact by going the opposite direction, by just trying to overly stand out and trying to overly be impressive. It's a coping mechanism. It's a shield. Do I think narcissism exists? For the most part, no. I don't think narcissism exists. I think that narcissism can be cured if the person wants to change, if they want to change, and it really what it is just changing what you say to people and changing your internal thinking, changing the way you think when you talk to yourself, and then also changing the words that you use when you talk to other people. Again, if you're finding an issue with narcissism for some reason, then I would take a look into the physiological symptoms or the physical symptoms that could be. I don't want to say. I'm not saying that narcissism is attached to physical symptoms. That everything is attached to a fucking physical symptom. Depression is attached to a fucking physical symptom. Someone's thinking negative, but they're also not maybe not producing serotonin or dopamine. So maybe you can also just take something that increases your dopamine, maybe some tyrosine or something. So these are things to look into, like, be willing to get the resources, be willing to challenge your thinking, be willing to get help, be willing to kind of admit that maybe that, there's certain things that you need to improve about yourself. And, we always have room for growth. We always have room for improvement. Narcissism doesn't like to hear this because this challenges the 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 shield, the protector self, you could say, which is a superiority complex to cover up their insecurity. So whenever you're trying to give narcissism a truth, they block it out and reject it because they don't want to be hurt. Because then they go back to being vulnerable. But it doesn't need to be that way. All right, just kind of own the fact that you need to change the way you're thinking and then change the words that you're using when you're talking to people. That's really what it is about. Anyways, that's all I got for you on this one. If you like this one, give me a thumbs up. Check me out on prosperitylife.com for the secrets of life, and be sure to check out the resources down below. Also, sign up to my free newsletter. I'll be updating either on Saturday or Sunday. Thank you.